April 1973. Tragedy and despair have struck Central Texas. A young college student named Maria Flores has seemingly vanished without a trace. She was last seen near the town of Newt more than 2 weeks ago, but with no physical evidence, the investigation has stalled. With few leads and even less hope, Maria's younger sister Ana Flores and a group of her closest friends set out to find their missing loved one. But any grief or sadness caused by Maria's disappearance would pale in comparison to the agony and despair they would soon discover. What awaited this group of youths was a nightmare beyond belief. The events surrounding Maria's disappearance would be just one of the many bizarre crimes later known as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Hello fellow grave crawlers, and welcome to ZTV Games. I am Paiper Zombie, your host with you as always, and on today's episode, we are continuing our stay in Texas by continuing our tutorials, updated tutorials, for Bones, and if we've got some time, which I think we will, we'll also be touching on Drayton the Cook. So, yesterday, I might have been a little mean to Bones. Just a little bit. But I still stand by what I say when I say that he's a poor character. As of right now. And all they need to do is just simply take and make it to where, because these are his 3 traversal perks, if I didn't go over them before. And just let me show them to you. Since they're all rank 3 except for this one, which I could get there. Just need a map for it. But I'll go show you these in action really fast. Just so you can so you can feel me. Cause you're hearing me, but I don't think you're feeling me. You need to feel me. Perfect.
What should have been a night of memories and celebration turned into a scene one witness described as hell on earth. Teenagers at Dutton High School were celebrating an otherwise uneventful senior dance when 2 local men, identified as 43-year-old Hackett Wafer and his 24-year-old son Landry, bladed weapons and began attacking those inside. 6 students, all members of
It's go time.
So we already discussed him not having scout, which this is his movement speed. It's not bad, but if he's gonna be a chaser, he could stand to have scout. He cannot hide. I didn't think he could. And then one thing with Bones that's unique if you notice, I do not have wireframe, but watch this. Oh, they did fix it. Originally, see how if he has a running start, like that's something that I've noticed with him. If he has a running start, he can actually go through gaps faster and pick back up. Whereas if you just walked up to it, started going, I suppose that's the same speed. So it used to be that when he went through crawl spaces, he did it like super fast if he didn't have wireframe. So they did fix that. But anyway, first of all, here we are. So say the victim is like, oh, I'm gonna climb over this. So you're like, da 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 da, watch me do the same. See how I just fell out of existence for just a moment? Yeah, that's how long that takes. So say you follow the victim's over, the victim's down, the victim's up, the victim's running. Yeah, the victim's gone. Like the victim is way over here talking about opening this, or they just went through this gate already. Like, gives you a very big head start. So it's not that fast. So, yeah. You're not going to be using it to chase somebody. I'll put it to you like that. Like, unless you were just directly behind them, but you take so long to go over the barricade. That is like, man.
Keeping rhythm, making time. Bone Daddy swinging, baby. Mine, all mine.
Victim had time to walk away, go to the store, and come back. Talk about, I got some chips. Did you want anything? Alright, so here it is. The world famous window. So say you're chasing these people, right? And you guys come through here, and you know they're going through that window. So see, if he didn't brush himself off, this would be okay. So that's how. So now it looks like you're all bloody and everything, which, yeah, duh, you would be. But you don't take any damage. And if that window, I'm so used to locking stuff, I'm in here by myself. There is nobody else on this map. I'm just so used to locking stuff. It's muscle memory, man. Can I get some health? I think I hurt my leg. Anyway. So, and you have to have a running start.
I've been into iron butterflies since they was 10.
See, by the time you recover, victim is more than likely, distance-wise, and depending what perks they have, victim is already all the way over here, talking about goodbye. Oh, I need to wake up Pawpaw. That's right. You cannot hit the well until he's woke. So that's to keep that from being abused, so that he can't just go down the well before the victims or a kill has woken Grandpa. So that's fair. So see, he's just, man, he am slow. And sometimes he can get stuck in motion. Like you'll go to open something or you'll go to turn and it's like he'll get stuck on a corner. So see, since I got this blood build, this is 140. Well, actually, this is my regular build. So see, him having his blood where it's at, well, this is with 50. So you know you get 140 when you have 50 blood. I don't even need to do it. I'm here now, damn it. So say the victim is like, tee-hee, I'm fixing to go down this well. And so, as long as you're right on them, you're like, watch me do it too.
You're just living towards dying anyway, so get on with it.
So now, what I will say about this is only, I think this one is only at rank 3. No, my window jump is only at rank 3. So, that recovery time could stand to be just a little bit faster, because the victim is definitely gonna be long gone by the time you get up and you recover. So, where this perk can get you in trouble at, if you're up top like me, I tend to, if I'm running this perk, I tend to only run it if we're dealing with I only tend to use it if we're dealing with only one more victim. As long as there's one victim left, then I have no problem. Then I actually, you know, why am I locking this? Anyway, made me lose my train of thought, man. So, we were talking about the speed of that. The speed could just stand to be a little bit faster. We'll go look at it again. Like, and feel free, like, if you're gonna check this perk out, feel free what I was testing out right there is if I were using hysterical strength. You see that black bar that's going across my stamina? So that goes as I'm running, and then when I attack, of course. Now, when it goes past that black bar, that's when you're getting the benefit of hysterical strength. So what I was doing was seeing if I could set it up, or what I was doing was testing how many swings I could take if I were running hysterical strength, because it only kicks in when you're low on stamina, and you literally can only get in about one swing. I thought so. One swing every so often. So it's kind of not worth using. So one thing about this, always find your different, if you're going to run this perk, homework is to go to all the different maps and then find out where all of your wells are and jump down them and remember where they take you. It's like this one, for instance. They really have, it seems like they've improved the recovery on that. I kind of don't remember him being that fast. In a live match, I don't remember his recovery being that fast. I remember the recovery for jumping down the well being more slow like that. So I will say, I will say that I take it back about the whale. The whale actually has a pretty good time. The window, I need to get it to rank 3 in order to be able to tell a little bit better. But it seems like, and I'm not sure if that's just because we're in a private match, because sometimes private matches can play differently than a public match, just in what it lets your characters do. I don't know why that is, but sometimes there can be discrepancies. So then, for instance, now that's the recovery I remember. There you go. Now that's the super slow recovery. Even though I did just jump 2 stories. Well, 1 story. That's 1 story? That's 2 stories. Yeah, so from the 2nd story, still, a victim would be able to recover faster than you? See, I would have to test it. Well,
I can hear y'all.
in the moments where I've used it,
Up.
as long as I'm directly on the victim and I jump out the window right after they do it, I've noticed I get up slightly after them, which is acceptable. But you have to be right on them, or else they're going to have the advantage, because they will get up faster than you and they'll be able to get away from you. So it's advantageous, but yeah, that's that longer recovery time I was used to. Even though it didn't seem to have any effect when I went out of the front window. The front window on a public match is normally as long of a recovery as it is if you jump out of the 2nd story. Cause see, if we go out this first one, that's not as long. See, that was faster. See? Like, that was almost victim speed fast. That was much faster. But I'm telling you, like on a public match, it seems like your recovery speed, no matter what type of window you jump out of, it's slow like this. So jumping out this window wouldn't be worth it. The only reason why you would jump out this window is if you know for certain that there is a cook lock here and it's still here. Because what'll happen is sometimes victims will be like, you know what, you want to put a lock here? Fool, I'm finna jump out this window. How about that? So they'll jump out the window to bypass the lock. So of course, that means if you're playing family and there's a cook lock here, you would have to unlock the door, open it, and then run out to them. But it gives you, because I think that they have about the same, their recovery time is close to his, but it's a little bit faster. But when they land, if they land, you literally have enough time to open this door and come out and get them. This is only worth it if this is locked. If this has a cook lock on it and they call themselves trying to bypass the lock, and you know that for certain, then I would say it's worth it to jump. Only because then you could take and you could do this. Because see, they can only go around here. They can only go back in that house. If there's a cook lock there, they're not going to try and go back through there. First thing they're going to try and do is go out of this gate here. But if this is locked and they still have to unlock it, then, and you're on them already, or they could try to go through here. They try and go through here, you can just shimmy right on after them. So then that means that the only thing that they can do is go down this well. To which, if you're back here and there's a cook lock on here, and you don't think anybody else is going to come jumping, backflipping out of this window, go right in behind him. See, his recovery is much faster than I remember it. So like I said, know where everything brings you out at. and then know your closest, and then of course you'll chase, but always learn your basement. With him, he would be someone to learn the basements with, just so you'll know where the hell it is that you are. Like, you'd be looking at this going, Zombie, where are you with all these bodies and such? Believe it or not, it's this room right here. Yeah. So that's where that staircase comes from. So yeah. So like I'm saying, I'll have to test it out. We'll have to run a test just to do it, because it doesn't cost any money. You know, the way these perks are set up is that the only one that you have to spec for is the whale perk. The other two you basically get for free. I wish that you got all three for free, because having to spec for that one, just So we're gonna have to check that out in a live match just to be certain. Just to be certain. Because I'm sensing shenanigans. All right. So, and this is what I'm talking about, like right here. Hunting enthusiast and reckless. But then if you want whale, you have to come up the middle, or you have the option to right here, turn this way. Or from this way, you have the option to turn this way. And then there's your whale perk right here. So it doesn't matter which way you take. If you want to go this way to get exterior alarms and then Dracula, or if you want to get serrated with excited grandpa. As much as I would love to have exterior alarms, like the only reason why I would go with this is, the only time that I went with this is when I was initially, if I'm going to be running all three traversal perks. So like I said, if that window jump is really that speed in a live match, and that's just not on private match, then it seems like they might have fixed this. Because it doesn't seem as fast, it doesn't seem as slow as it was before. Now this still seems just as slow as it was before. And this seemed faster. So we're gonna test that out. So anyway, that's when you're running all three traversal perks. You can see that this one is already garbage. Like, run it only if you really want to. Like, the only place that this would work at, the only time I think it would be a benefit is, say for instance, you're on Family House and you don't have Leatherface and you don't have hands. There is unfortunately, and I think I've shown it to you guys where it's at, but on the second floor, or at least when we talk about Leatherface, I'll show you where it's at. But basically on the second floor, there is always a barrier that's up there, and it can be in 3 different places up there. In one spot, it blocks that door. In another spot, it actually completely blocks off anyone who's not able to go through crawl spaces or destroy barriers. It blocks you off from even being able to get over there. Only the victims can get over there. So it's like that because way back in the day, it used to be required to play Leatherface. Like, he was a required character. Somebody had to be Leatherface, and then the other 2 people could be whoever they wanted to be. So that's a requirement that they've since removed, thank goodness. But that's the reason why that barrier is there, and why they never took it out or gave it the option to spawn in different places. It can also spawn by the stairs, in which then it not only blocks off that area where the fuse could be at, but then it also blocks off a couple of other doors. So it basically kind of gives the victims a free space to go. You know what? Let me just go ahead and show you instead of waiting until we get to Leatherface for that. And then we'll go ahead and we'll talk about some specs.
Cattle mutilations continue to plague the quiet farming communities of Central Texas, as 2 more were reported just last evening. The cows were discovered with the throat slit and cut from belly to hip. Officials believe multiple perpetrators are responsible, as the mutilations appear to have been committed at the same time. The Sheriff's Department advises all ranchers to patrol their property, heavily armed, and report any suspicious activity. Local farmer Emerald told local reporters that he believes it is the work of, quote, devil workers.
This'll be a blast, baby.
All right, let's go find our little barrier. On this Blood Moon map, which they have made look better. My goodness, when this thing first came out, oh dear Lord. You want to talk about red? It was literally like all they did was just take and just put a red filter over everything. You would go in the house, the shadows were all off because the shadows were all red. So the house was lit up like you were outside. People's shadows would stretch all across the walls. You could hear victims when they talked from upstairs. It was jacked up. Like people used to complain like, oh my goodness, this map is making my eyes bleed. This is retarded. See, here we go. This is where this has a chance to be. It also has a chance to be around the corner, right there on that other corner. So this, if you have nobody who can gap right here, then you basically either right here or somebody who can do it, because see, sometimes this could be closed. So this is a case where that's closed. Victims can open it, but you basically have to gap through here. But what if you have somebody who can't go through gaps? Well then, if the fuse would have been in that room over there where we went, because the fuse does have a chance to be in here. But if it would have been right here, would have been no way you could have got to it. So that would have been the only moment where it would have been like, so it's actually right here. But yeah, epic gap. So this is supposed to be Hitchhiker's room. So that's why he's got all these license plates back here and stuff like that. that he's stolen from all the vehicles, all the people that they murdered. Head, hand, heart. Yeah, his bone chair. All the bone parts and such. Yeah, yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, it also has a chance to be right here. So, basically, you would come in and you wouldn't be able to get down this hallway coming this way. You would have to come from this stairway. And then you would try to run this way, and that barrier is going to be right here in your way. So, that's just something to be aware of. It's only on this map. But yeah, that would be the only space where this would help you. But you can already go through gaps. So you already have a solution. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and talk about specs. So what you saw yesterday was I misread the darn perk. So that was not the TruBlood spec. I was using Siphon. Siphon says your blood harvesting is increased by 5. What this means is this increases your blood harvesting. That's not what I wanted. What I wanted was Blood Banker. Your maximum blood storage capacity is increased by 10, 20, 30%. So you already saw that my blood carrying capacity was at 140, and that's with 50 harvesting. That's what my harvesting maxed out. This allows you to get over that amount. Using this just gives you extra points in blood harvesting. So that means that you could, in theory, Blood Banker, and then Siphon. Then, as you can see, it goes over that 50. So then, basically, you bring it back down, and now I've got 5 more points that I could go put someplace else. So say, for instance, I want to go put 5 points here. Well, I could. So, and then once that gets to 2, that's going to be 2 more points. So that'll be 2 more points I could take off. So that's going to be 7 points that I could go put someplace else. That's okay. But I like this better. Because what this does is, this is of course surgical. You receive 100% more blood when you attack victims at level 3. So when you hit the victims, you get blood. You get some blood. This increases that by 100%. So what this means is that you're getting a pretty good amount of blood from swinging on victims, especially because your blood harvesting is so high. Like from wounding victims or executing victims, like this helps you out big time. And then that increase helps you out. This is only going to help with your carrying capacity. This isn't going to be like harvesting where this is going to determine you getting extra. So this is how you get more benefit from that. Then this is how you get benefit from it from attacking victims. You take a good 4 or 5 swings at a victim, you got a full blood vial. Then I always like Universal Donor, because Universal Donor is going to increase the blood that you get from buckets by 40%. So what this means is that you're going to get a whole lot more from your blood buckets, which is something that you're going to be doing. Because if you notice when you saw me running it, that's exactly what I was doing, was running and snatching that blood up. So that's what you would do for your TruBlood spec. Now, what you could do is, if you feel like you're confident in your blood collection and your blood banker, you feel like you're confident in this blood collection alone, then you could get rid of this. But what I would say is, if you particularly need to get rid of anything, feel free to experiment. Like if you feel like you don't want this, bam, you pop in Serrated, so that this is your damage, so that this is your attack buff over this. So then you're still getting your benefit from your blood buckets, but you're just not getting as much blood. You're still getting your benefit from having that 50 blood harvesting. So you're still getting more. You're just not getting 100% more. And since this is not a heavy damage build, then even at 15, Serrated is still strong just because it stacks. But this is at your discretion. This is at player discretion. Or say, for instance, you don't even care about this. You want more stamina. So then you would get this, and stamina consumption is reduced by 5, 10, 15% when carrying a blood vial that is more than 50% full. Now this says stamina consumption. So what this means is that anything that uses stamina. So we're talking running, swinging your weapon. Yeah. So this, it sounds like it's GIMP, but it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So those are options. But I like to have this because to me, this yields the best blood income. So that's what I would do for that. Your other perks would be you'll pay for that. Once again, this is something that's dependent on grandpa being incapacitated. Nah. And this is rubber boots. This is the perk that I was talking about, that you are immune to the electrified cattle grids, but the generator starts with only 5 pulls. So what this means is that, so it's just that one. I thought that one also did less pulls. That rank 2 also did less pulls. Basically what this is that, but the generator starts with only 5 pulls. So what I'm not quite sure the wording on that, because it says, but the generator starts with only 5 pulls. So I guess that means that at maximum, you only ever have to do 5 pulls before the generator will start. Okay, I thought that was already a thing. But at least being able to start it in 1 pull at rank 3 is awesome, because literally you just walk up to it, vroom, 1 hit, and you're ready to go. So that helps a lot, especially when you've got victims who have used, what is that perk called? Saboteur. Saboteur adds an extra, because it takes 30 seconds for any objective that a victim hits. They get a 30-second cooldown before anybody can interact with it again. Saboteur adds another 30 seconds onto that for a full minute. So this is good for when you have that 30 seconds. Like if you're already good at starting the, because basically this is going to be on generator. This isn't going to help you with the battery. So if you're already good at starting the generator, you can do it in 3 pulls. But it's nice to be able to do it in 1. The bad news, though, is that it takes up a perk slot. And you could be doing something much better. You can be using something much more beneficial, because this is only going to come in handy when the situation calls for it. So like on Nancy's house, where you know that there's a potential that people are really going to abuse that generator, then this is going to allow you to basically, you don't even have to worry about that cattle grid. You can just run right across it. Family house would be another spot to use it in, but basically, if the victims have already crossed that grid, then the only thing that you're going to be using it for on family house is to psych a victim out. If a victim is waiting on the other side because they know you can't get to them, so they're sitting there trying to be cute and teabagging, you could run across the grid and make them sorry for that. So that's all it's good for. Basically just Nancy's house. So that's your setup if you want to be blood build. And then of course, you know, you're going to be taking, here is, like I said, this is situational. This is dependent on what feels good to you. This is what feels good to me. But a lot of people like to go for this free Gore bomb right here, which bombs can be made from empty or full blood buckets without using blood. So basically what this means is that you get to double dip, so to speak. You can go ahead and you can use a blood bucket. Basically, it makes it so that you no longer use the blood from the blood bucket when you make the bomb. So you can go to the blood bucket, make your bomb, and then take the blood from the bucket and still benefit. So this right here can actually be very helpful for the TruBlood build, because see, then this allows you to double dip, so you're not losing blood by making your bomb. When you make your bombs, you're always getting that full benefit. This is going to increase your Gore bomb damage by 20. I would say you can go for this, but there's this. Why improve it by 20 when you can improve it by 50? Now, the thing about this one is that it adds an extra step to your bombs. So what it does is that you already have your bombs on you. You have to go to a toolbox, and you can access the toolboxes, and it gives you a little thing where it counts down. You hold X, and you build frag bombs. And so that's why it's an improved Gore bomb, because basically you took tool parts and you connected them to the bomb, so when they explode, it shoots all the tool parts all over the place. So these are good for when you want to trap grandpa, and you know that a victim isn't scared to try to tank the trap. When this goes off and it hits a victim, like, your victim is immediately gonna be like, oh my goodness, I need health, like, immediately, because it does hurt. But it does add that extra step of having to go and make your bombs. Having to go to a toolbox. And it sucks when you're not near a tool, when you're near a blood bucket, but the toolbox is like way the hell over there. So yeah, this is kind of, this is at a player discretion, what feels good to you. The global reveal, victims hit, now by default, if I didn't explain this before, when the bombs go off and hit a victim, Bones automatically by default sees it. This is basically his all family sees noise, and you get that at level 1. And so any victim that's hit by the bomb is revealed to the family, not just to Bones. So this is going to be good. The reason why I like this, like, you could go back and forth with this, especially if you're running that TruBlood build. The reason why I like this is because, see, as Bones, you only get 2 bombs anyway, unless you take this right here, which gives you a 3rd one. But you're always going to get the benefit of seeing where the bomb went off at, because as Bones, you're going to know where you put your 2 bombs at. So even if they miss, you're going to know the 2 possible places. If they hit, you automatically get to see where it is that the victim is, because they get highlighted to you. This is more just about helping out family and making it so that family can help you out when it comes to your bombs being more helpful and more of a tattletale symbol. So like I said, this is just about what feels good for you. I like the benefit, but you also get plenty of benefit out of this, especially if you're running that TruBlood spec. So then this is stamina drain. This is where you get to decide if you want that or this. More damage or drains all their stamina. You already know why I like this. Global reveal so that the whole family can see them. You got hit by the bomb, your stamina is gone. Now you have to wait a minute before you can even build it back up to run. So you make it real risky for hitting those bombs. So it just depends on what you want. If you want that stamina drain, that's beautiful, go for that. This is what I tend to go for. But even though this adds that extra step, if you want that extra damage, like I said, this is more based off of, both of these are actually based off of actually hitting the victim. So if you're really good at placing your bombs and seem to be able to hit victims with where you put them, then improved Gore bombs is probably going to be of more benefit to you. But as far as helping your family out, this is going to be of more benefit, because if they're there, then they get hit by the bomb, then it's going to take more time for them to recover from that hit. And it'll even take Bones more time to recover from the hit than it does a victim. But with that stamina drain, they can't just get up and take off running before you even get up off the ground. So that's what I like about this over the improved Gore bomb. Then when you get up here, this is, like I said, this is the must-have for a TruBlood build. You can also run it for any of your other builds because, like I said, this is just an additional Gore bomb. And once again, you get a perk that's reliant on you being able to hit the victim. But this is thrilled. When a victim is hit by a Gore bomb, Bones becomes thrilled for 45 seconds. His stamina consumption is reduced by 50%, and his damage dealt is increased by either 25% or 50% against victims hit by the Gore bomb. So only the victims, because if there's multiple victims in the blast radius, they'll all get that debuff put on them. So, and you don't get to choose what it is, and you don't know which one it is until you hit them, whether or not they have that 25% or the 50% damage debuff. So this is good, like I said, if you know that you're going to be able to hit the victims. But then you also need to be close to the victims because it only lasts for 45 seconds. So I have run Thrilled. When I ran Thrilled, I actually built a bit of a spec. Hey there, Michael. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Easter to you. And happy Easter to everybody who celebrates. Oh, yes. The happy that's, oh, yeah. Hunts together, slays together. We sure do. And you should see what we had today. Ooh, dinner is good. And you should see the finger foods. Anyway. All right, so we looked at that spec. So that's your TruBlood spec. So we ran that. Actually, you know what? We didn't even get to run the real version yesterday. So you know what to look for when we run that later today. So here's how we would go about building for what you would call the Thrilled spec. Now, there's two ways to build for this. One based purely off the damage, and then the other way is based off of having some sort of chase capability. And that chase capability comes from Wireframe. So I already showed you the Wireframe spec. I already talked to you about that. So why don't we go ahead and look at the Thrilled spec. So what you would do is you can decide if you want to come this way up the middle. I would recommend just starting right here and coming this way. And then some people like to come this way because muscle memory, this just shortens your bombs, how long it takes for you to make your bombs. So some people like to have this as a perk. Some people like to run this, the endurance perk, and then Wireframe when they come this way. And then, of course, if you're coming this way, you can also come this way to build that up so that you have the benefit. Like you would come this way. Say, for instance, you also have your 3 perk build. But let's go let's go build by build at a time. So here we are here. Now, at this point, you're going to make a decision. This is where you're going to decide if you want to go here so you can grab your utility, your damage, your crown, and this, or you're going to decide if you want some utility. I feel like the utility isn't much worth it. But this one is kind of a neat little perk that you could get. Victims climbing over obstacles are highlighted to you for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 12 seconds. So basically what this means is that anytime a victim climbs over an obstacle, they get highlighted to you. So this is really good when you have a place like gas station where you have obstacles that are in the way, or even if they're in the basement. Like, this helps you wind up being a pretty good basement chaser as long as they're going over barricades, because then that's 12 seconds that you get to see them. So if they go over another one, they're going to get highlighted again. So this is actually pretty nice, because as long as there's barricades, and they're going over them, like especially on Slaughterhouse, where you're in the center and you have those barricades where they're at, like, this would be awesome to have for that level, just because you'd be seeing victims all day long. Now, it would be cool if you could see them going through gaps too, but whatever. It's still good when you have that. But then you've also got this too. I was gonna say, but you also have to ask yourself, do you want this utility or do you want the damage? Because then your other utility you can get is going to be Resourceful Engineer, which allows you to create a Gore bomb directly on the site of a detonated bomb. Consume 60% of the blood remaining in his blood vial. This cannot be used if the blood vial is empty. So what that means is that exactly what it says. Bones can take, and normally you have to go to a blood bucket and make one. He doesn't have to do that. He could just take the blood that's in his vial and use that. He could just take the blood that's in his vial and use it to make a bomb right on the spot. So basically, you don't even need to recreate the bomb. You just rebuild it. So you don't have to go to a blood bucket and do it again. As long as you're packing blood, you can have one blood. And you can still make a bomb. But you have to go to the site of where the bomb detonated. And then you'll see where the bomb used to be at, and it'll give you the option to either take the spark plug or to put it back there. This I don't know if it still is or not, but this was bugged. What happens is that for whatever reason, the game knows that it's taking from your blood vial, but the game does not recognize number-wise that it's taking away from your blood vial. So what happens is that, say for instance, you've got 100 blood, and then you use Resourceful Engineer to put your bomb back together. So then that takes 40% of the blood. So you're walking around with, what is that, like 30, 40 blood? So then you go and you start filling your blood back up. Well, instead of letting you get to your full blood capacity, whatever blood you spent, it's not going to see that. So what's going to happen is you're going to try and get at full capacity, and your blood meter is going to be full. But you're going to know that you're not at full capacity. And you're going to be like, what the heck? How come I can't go collect any more blood? How come it's saying go to Grandpa? I'm not full yet. It's because of this perk. It's, for whatever reason, it's not communicating correctly. So you can't get a full blood vial once you use this perk. Like, it resets once you go ahead and you pick up the spark plug. But if you use it, then you're going to run into that problem. So I don't have a problem with creating my bombs at a blood bucket. Like, there's usually always a blood bucket nearby or close enough for me to be able to go and make my bombs. So I tend not to come this way. And then especially if you're going for that damage, you want to come this way because you want that serrated. All right, and how you want to stack this up is, of course, First and foremost, you're going to want Feral. You want that damage boost. Then you're going to want Serrated. You're going to want that. And then what you're going to want after that is, if you want one more damage buff or one more on hit bonus and you have a sissy in the match, then this is a good one to go with. Because if you can catch the victim and swing on them, it's an unexpected surprise and it'll freak them out. It's also a nice little stamina regeneration, but it's just for your stamina regeneration. Instead, why not get something that's all the time? So you would take this. And we all know what Fired Up is about, which allows us to run the 30 or 35, whichever you want. And then you dump all the rest into your savagery. So that's what you're going to wind up running with. And that's just at 1 for your Feral. So that means you're only getting 5 points right now. Or 3 points right now. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to have 4 more points. So by the time this is done, that's 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. So you're going to be sitting at 41 savagery. So you're going to hurt when you hit somebody. And you're going to have pretty good endurance. So you're going to be able to swing a few good times. And you got that Serrated. Oh, the pain is going to be real. And you got Fired Up. So you already know the routine when it comes to that. Now, you would ask about big swings. And I know what you're thinking. Zombie, how the hell did you get that raggedy perk up to rank 3? Well, when Bones first came out, there was a situation with this perk where it was not taking away the stamina. Instead of it treating it like he had this perk, it gave you the damage buff, but it didn't give you the stamina debuff. So Bones was walking around slapping the hell out of people, killing them in 3 hits. Because people were just like, oh, okay. That's how you want to roll. They were like, yeah. So you had people who were literally going with the lowest endurance, big swings, Feral on rank 3, and then either Fired Up or they had Serrated here. So you had that, and that. You want to talk about hurting. Like I said, 3 swings, 3 to 4 swings. And that person would be on the floor talking about ow, even Anna, after activating her ability. So I think that they have fixed this. And I would advocate not playing with this way, because once they do fix it, then you're going to feel like you're at a disadvantage. So this is not intended. And I would recommend not running this. The same reason why I told Sissy not to run this, because that's going to hurt you that 200% more costly swing speed. So you're only going to get about 3, like I said, from full stamina is 4 swings. So you're only it's gonna be just like if you took Hysterical Strength. Only, at least with big swings, you're gonna wind up getting about 2 good swings. With Hysterical Strength, uno. Before you take that next swing, like if you take that next swing, you're out of stamina. So you can get 2 swings out of it, but then you're gonna be doing the angry dance afterward. So you don't want that. And it'll be the same with this too. You're going to get your 2 swings, but then you're going to be doing that angry tantrum afterward. So it's best to roll with this one. And then you get a good selection for some grandpa perks. Experienced Stalkers, it's okay. But, Suffocating Grip. This helps you with the close encounter minigame. So what this means is that basically everybody starts at a certain number when they go into the grapple mini game. So what this does is this basically makes this easier for you by 25%. So it gives you more points when you are in your struggle and you're hitting your button in your struggle. So this is a good perk to have because it works for everybody. So as long as it's active, everyone on your team gets this perk. Don't have all day. Stamina, we know about this. Excited grandpa, we know about this. So this is what you're going to be going with. If somebody already has that, get excited with it. Somebody already has that, don't have all day with it. Then what you can do is, this is where you can decide if you want to roll with thrill. Like I said, if you're good at hitting the victims, then this is going to be your thrill build. Or if you feel like you're not hitting victims that much, then you're going to go with this free blood vial. Because what this is going to do is, basically, you're going to just be using your bombs just to basically be blood generation. So what this is going to do is, this is going to let you be nasty. We want to at least have this, because we can do 30. Because 30, actually I like to do, there we go. Because we could do 37. And then 37, 38, 39, 40. I could actually do the 30. I might test this out first though. I like that. I like having that over 40. So I might need to run that first. So then you have that free blood vial. So what this is doing is letting you use your bombs basically as just blood generation. You're strong, so you're basically going to be taking victims down in about 6 or 7 hits with this 42 savagery. And then once you actually get your savagery as close to 50 as you can, with it being at 42, you're probably going to be taking you're probably going to be killing in about, I would say maybe about 5 to 6 hits. That doesn't sound like a lot. Now that sounds like a lot, but trust me, Bones can swing. Bones has the benefit of being able to swing a little bit faster than the average family member. So he doesn't swing as fast as Hitchhiker and Sissy, but he swings faster than Nancy and Cook. Nancy, Cook, and Bones. I mean, in hands. So, and Johnny too, I think. Yeah, and Johnny. So, yeah. So that's his benefit. So what I want to do is take this and we're going to test this. We're going to test how many swings you can get with this at that 30. Yeah, because if you could go on like this, then this is going to mean that you're going to be able to at least kill somebody in about 5 swings with this. And then as you get closer to 50, it's going to stay about the same. Where that's going to change to you being able to kill a victim in about 3 hits is if you should happen to get thrilled. And you get that 50% bonus. Because if you get that, then you having that on top of this damage is gonna basically that's what's gonna give you the ability to, if it's at 50, that's what's gonna give you the ability to 3-shot somebody. If it's the 25%, you're probably gonna be able to 4-shot somebody. So we'll test this out and see how many hits it may potentially take. Like, I'd actually have to go look at my chart and I'd have to see. So it's a chart that I use that another player put up, which is actually very good in teaching and letting you know your numbers and how much damage you're actually getting and how many kills it would actually take. So swings it would actually take. So yeah, let me get this map together. The place where we can run.
In the grisly string of murders that littered Interstate 40 during 1971 and 72. Known only as the terror of I-40, authorities say an unidentified woman spent years hitchhiking from Texas to California, where she viciously murdered several truck drivers and 3 other young women along the route. Billy Jasper of Winslow, Arizona, claims he likely had an encounter with the assailant at his home over a year ago. Jasper says a young woman in her 20s approached his home seeking water and food. But after a few minutes, the woman allegedly became irate with Mr. Jasper's line of questioning.
This'll be a blast,
All right, let's test it out. So you get in about 6 good swings. 1. So you get in a good 6 swings. And then you got some good locomotion. Now see how much faster he went through that one? And that is without wireframe. See, that's why I said this is inconsistent. That's one of the things about private matches. So yeah, that does give him the ability to be pretty mobile. So yeah. So this hurts people. So the other only spec that he has is, like I said, if you're building up to go ahead and say, for instance, you love these 3 traversal perks and you want to have a build that works with them, then that is where you would go. You can, like, this is going to be for your TruBlood build. This would be if you're going to be using all 3 of your traversal perks, if you're trying to go for a traversal build. Now, here is where you're going to make your decision. If you want to forgo going down the wells, then you would come over here and you would snatch up Wireframe, which would make your build, depending on which of the traversal perks you're using. So, because remember, you only have to use this on the maps where there's actually windows. Like I said, this one is just pointless to use because it's so slow. So then, this is where you would have Wireframe. So then you can have Wireframe. And then, but say for instance, you love all 3 of the traversal perks. So that's what you would take, all 3 of your traversal perks. And then, of course, you're either going to want Thrilled, if you're sure you can hit the victims with the bombs, or once again, if you just want to use them for this. Like I said, this is all about what feels good to you. So, and if you want to go this route, like your 3rd bomb route would technically be, this is going to increase all bomb damage by 20%, but you're going to lose utility. Then victims hit by Gore bomb stay revealed for an extra 30 seconds. This literally means you get hit by a Gore bomb, that's 30 seconds that Bones knows where you're at. So that's why your global reveal is way the heck over there and this is way the heck over here, so you can't get the 2 of them together. So this means getting hit by a bomb, you might as well just have an arrow that's pointing over you for Bones for the next 30 seconds. So this is good, like I said, once again, if you can hit people, thus making this a good ability because now you got 3 bombs. People are used to you only having 2. And then with them all having that 20% extra damage without you having to run to a toolbox, then, you know, that's a good little bonus. So you trade in that damage for that utility. You trade in that longer reveal for stamina drain or improved damage. And then you got that additional Gore bomb. So now you have 3. So now this means you can trap Grandpa. And if you really want to, you can trap Grandpa like it's going out of style. So that's 3 bombs. And even you could take free Gore bomb, longer reveal, an additional Gore bomb if you take this, because remember, if you're not taking that, you're not getting a free blood, you're not getting blood back. So this is specifically for when you want that 3rd bomb. So this is just for what feels good for you. So you know what I would do. So that's what you would be doing if you want the 3 traversal perks. So say for instance you're doing wireframe. So you know if you have wireframe, what I like to go with is wireframe. I like to go with wireframe. Some people like to go wireframe, unrelenting, and what is the other one? And tracker tagged. Tracker tag is good just for when you can actually hit this idiot. You know, hit the victims. So when you can actually hit somebody, then it's gonna highlight them. But say for instance, like I said, you love your 3 perks. So what you would do, your 3 traversal perks. So you would have that, and then this would be your well perk. And what you're gonna do is you've got access to grandpa perks that are gonna back you up actually. And I like to come this route because even if I don't go your triple traversal spec, if I'm going just the wireframe spec, I like to come this way because what this gives me the option of is I can still have, as you'll see, so say for instance, we're on Family House. So I've got my reckless, I will have my hunting enthusiast, and since I went with this, wireframe is something that's going to help you everywhere. So say for instance, we were someplace where I didn't need this. So then I at least have my wireframe, but I could replace this with, let's say, unrelenting, which gives me more endurance. So what this means is less that I have to spend here, taking that to 40. And it literally allows me to have 35, 30, 40. So even with this, I'm getting some pretty good damage. What I like to run with this spec is I like to go when you're not, well, if you're doing the triple traversal, that, and then your whales, your grandpa perks are going to work with whatever you think the victim is going to be most likely to do. If you're on Nancy's house or you are on Family House, especially Family House, you want Wind Doom. Victims take 50% more damage when jumping out of windows. This is going to allow you to capitalize, because what this means is that even unless the victims are running a perk that lets them take less damage from jumping out of windows or for jumping down wells, they're going to take 50% more damage on top of the damage that they already take. And they already take a lot of damage. So what this does is this increases the likelihood that if the victim is not running that perk, then, because I believe it's stunt double. I think it's stunt double. Lets them take 50% less damage when they jump out of a window. So this is going to make them take 100, basically, instead of taking 50% less damage, if they're running that perk, they're still going to take full damage because of this perk. What you're hoping for is when they jump out of the window, they get incapacitated, where you get the option to be able to kill them before they have that moment where they could get back up and get back into action. That's what you're going with this. For all the other stages, you're going to be using well. Victims that jump down wells take 50% more damage. So what you're hoping for is the victim to jump down the well, get incapacitated from the extra damage that they took for jumping down the well if they don't have stunt double. Get incapacitated so that when you fall down there, this gives you enough time. And like I said, you have to jump down there right when they do to be able to take advantage of an incapacitation. But this just increases the likelihood of it. So this is what you would run if you were running your triple traversals. And that's what you're going to go back and forth for. And what's cool about this is it only requires Grandpa to be level 1 for both of these good perks. So that's what I like about this. What I'll run is I tend to run this. I'll use this for, and then say for instance, if we were on Family House, I'd be running this, or Nancy's house. But if we weren't there, I would be running Unrelenting. There's no reason why not. Like, there's really nothing else you could get except for Tracker Tagged, which that's okay. But like I said, Bones doesn't have Scout. So him trying to get a hold of a victim is a whole nother story altogether. I at least want the stamina to be able to chase after you for a little bit. So that's why I like to have Unrelenting. That'll take you up. Because that'll take you up from there, from 33 to 40. So now you got that 35 savagery. And if you feel comfortable, like 40's endurance is what I would put him at, since he doesn't have fired up. So if you feel comfortable though, because we do know how many swings he can get with 35 before we would have to stop and let fired up kick in. So if you feel comfortable with that, then you could actually crank this down to that 35, pop that 5 in here, and baby, you're running with a smooth 40 savagery. Now, why did I take Activated? This is for people trying to grapple you. Or this is for people trying to grapple you. So after they win the grapple, and after you're stunned, after you come out of that stun, for the next, since this is at rank 3, for the next 40 seconds, I deal 20% more damage. If I'm already at 40 savagery, that means that this is going to make it to where I might be capable of killing somebody in about 5-6 hits. All because they stunned me. So this is good to have because it's good to give, because you get this if you get grapple. So if you have Lelands in the match, or people just get real grapple heavy, this lets you tune that booty up when you can get back on them. Because for the next 40 seconds, you're dealing 20% extra damage. So that's what I like about this. This can also work with Thrilled. So that 25 to 50% that you get on top of this. And how would you go about working that with this? What you would do is you have to take the bomb to the face. That's basically what you do. Because if you get hit by your own bombs, that counts as being stunned. Yes. So for anybody who has Activated, if you have a Bones on your team and that's something you just want to mess around with, take Activated. Because if you get hit by one of his bombs, that's considered a stun. So now you're activated. So if you're a chaser and you've got your chaser build and you've got Activated on and you get that, that's going to do nothing but help you out. So that's why I like to have Activated for him. So yeah. So that's going to be what you would do for this. And then you're going to keep, even though you're not doing your triple spec here, you're still going to be following the same philosophy. If you're on Family House or Nancy's house, well, Family House, win Doom. Everywhere else, even Nancy's house, because victims are less likely to jump out of those two windows. Like the fact that somebody jumped out of the window yesterday was a huge surprise. That's the first time in months that I've seen anybody jump out of those windows. So you're more likely to have people backflipping down wells on Nancy's house. So this is going to be every other map that's not Family House. So basically, I do believe those are all the builds for him. Like, that's it. You're not going to be taking I Smell Blood. I explain what I Smell Blood does and why it sucks. You don't want it. And you could use Vial-ent, but you already saw what the build was for this when we came this way. So Vial-ent has a place because your damage is increased by 20% when carrying a full blood vial. So basically what this could do, in theory, would be you would take your feral, you're fired up, and then instead of taking your Serrated, or even instead of taking feral, maybe, you would go ahead and you would take Vial-ent. Basically, what this does is you already have good blood collection with him because his blood harvesting is at 30. So then having Vial-ent means that you're going to go ahead, once your blood vial is full, you'll be doing that 20% extra damage. But it's only while carrying it while the blood vial is full. So this would mean that you can also benefit from this when you fill up your blood vials when you go to get your bombs. So say, for instance, you don't feel, for whatever reason, this is good for if you're in a situation where you can't make it back to Grandpa and you have to guard your area, then this is good to have. This is also good to have in a situation where you have fed Grandpa up to rank 5 and you're walking around with a full blood vial. So now this is going to give you that extra benefit. So that's where Vial-ent will come in helpful for Bones. But as you can see, there's requirements. Whereas with Serrated, you got Serrated all the time. You know, it's not hard to get Vial-ent because knowing Bones and the way that he's built, all it takes is for a bomb to go off and bam, you have it. You know, but so that's just to each their own when it comes to the play styles. So why don't we go ahead, and we already looked at this build yesterday. We already looked at this. So basically there's kind of nothing to show for the triple spec, because we have to have a specific map for it. And then there's really nothing to show that's going to give me an advantage for crawling over the barricades. So basically all we're going to be doing is jumping out of windows or going down wells. And as you know, I don't do wells unless, like I said, it's a situation to where I either, like on Family House, if that situation was what it was at the backyard and you know that Cook's Lock is on there, then it's safe to go ahead and go down there. Other than that, always remember that when you use no escape, you are going into the basement. So that means that whatever it is you were protecting or defending up top is now left open. And you do have victims who will bait you, who will have somebody come in and bait you to make you well so that another victim can come along and get through the gate while you're down there running around in the basement. But one good thing to know is if you are using the triple spec and you are using this, always, like I said, your homework, find out, go down every last well on every map. And then what you do with that information is find out where your closest doors are. And then find out where your closest doors are and find out your closest way back up to the surface. Because it's not out of the question to wail as long as you know that you wail and you can get back to your location within the next 10 seconds. If you know that you can wail, get up, run, go through a door, come back upstairs, and you're right back at your spot. Like Slaughterhouse is a good example of that. If you know that you can do that, then it's safe. But just watch it with no escape, because this one can get you into trouble. So, in all fairness, let's go ahead and why don't we, because like I said, I really can't show this one unless the situation calls for it. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at his damage spec, because I can at least show you that that's not dependent. All right, let's go ahead and look at his damage build. We'll do a couple of matches with that. We'll do the real TruBlood build one time, and then shoot, basically that'll be it. Unless you all would really just like to see what it looks like when you go with this, because basically you'll be taking this, this, and this. So basically the only thing that's going to change is you're going to still be taking Feral, you're going to still be taking Serrated, but well, you won't be taking Serrated, you'll still be taking Feral, you'll still be taking Fired Up, but instead of Serrated, you're going to have that ability to see people who are going over crawl spaces. So basically you just have intel. So, but we can see what it looks like. We could go ahead and give it a couple of matches. But let's go ahead and let's take a look at his damage build. I was laughing because Face had the chicken talent. That's not a bad perk. A lot of people like to laugh at that perk and say that it's stupid. But if you have no other perks to run and you run that one, those chickens get to tattling on you from 2 miles away. Ladron. Can at least dress appropriately.
The search continues in Muerto County for a missing University of Texas student. The sheriff's department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, with officials reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are hopeful that the expanded search in nearby communities of Marlow and Chinatown will unearth these leads. Family and friends are urging anyone with information regarding her disappearance.
This'll be a blast, baby. It'll be tough toenails now. It's boom time! I don't mind you messing around from time to time, but stop stirring up so much trouble.
Now see, I don't mind waiting outside here. Now, is he defending his house? I guess he calls himself defending the house, not realizing he should be here. So now this one done got, and Hans is taking up all the blood. So I hope he's actually a blood build. Okay. Yeah, my leg.
Oh yeah, feels good.
See, now if I would have had that activated, I would have hit him so hard he would have screamed in Spanish.
Don't get no crazy ideas. Those folks down the road a piece can't help you. That's my sweet meat.
Let's go get this one. See, I didn't even get a notice that my bomb had gone off. Where are you, darling? Okay.
Y'all about to see my serious side. Now get over here and take what's coming to you.
Ooh, the heck? Shit, ow, my leg. So you know what I'm up to. Same technique we had with Nancy.
No use in delaying. Come on out.
Good shit, Hitchy boy. I
Closest
see
help's
you.
over in East Jesus. Ain't nobody saving you.
Damn, I'm stuck. Damn, I'm stuck. I can't move.
I don't
in there,
have
Hitchy.
reckless.
You're hanging on to a life that's already gone, baby.
There she is.
Aw, don't split. I ain't had my fun yet.
Got out. I got out.
Come on out now. You're
She's
already
like, aye.
dead. You just don't-
See, now that would have been a perfect moment. Yes. Now that would have been a perfect moment to have the 3 traversal perks. It figures, right? Figures. So next time, because I could have went out a window. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the whatchamacallits, the perks for it. So we're gonna keep on working on it. Let's see something real fast. I want to see. He's got dinner bell. I want to see. Damn it. I'm glad I waited. Okay, he had dinner bell. So I was going to check and I was going to see if that works on Bones' bombs too when they hit a victim. If dinner bell does or not. But then he switched.
Department says Maria Flores, a native of Uvalde, was last seen near the town of Newt. Her vehicle was recently discovered abandoned, with officials reporting no signs of foul play. Authorities are hopeful that the expanded search into the nearby communities of Harlow and Chinatown will unearth new leads. Family and friends are urging anyone with information regarding her disappearance to please come forward. New details have emerged in the grisly string of murders that littered Interstate 40 during 1971 and 72. Known only as the Terror of I-40, authorities say an unidentified woman spent years hitchhiking from Texas to California.
This whole thing is... It's boom time!
It's hard on you, you know.
You got me out here in my good pants sweating like an asshole.
He has me laughing when he sees Johnny. He's like, damn, son, you got us out here hurting cats.
Stay farm.
Don't worry, because this
Being a
hen
man don't mean no harm.
is about to get lit up when that bomb goes off. All right. So will we... Dang. Jenny down. Oh. Okay. I understand what you say now.
You're in the
Pow, pow,
garbage now.
no! Bomb hit the victim. You can't run, baby. Hi, baby.
Can't. Hold still.
Now, we couldn't have that. Too dangerous.
Here, this ought to spring you to life.
And because that was next to Grandpa, right there, and I should be able to feed him again, but I want to wait.
You must be Dixie fried if you plan. I'll kill you and swear you died. Trust me on that.
I mean it. Okay, that's just hands running through here. Ah, there goes a bomb.
Be tough toenails now. You ain't looking too bad. Y'all about to see my serious side. If you're looking for sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. We sure are hungry. Grill them bones. Gonna lick your brain like an ice cream cone. Knick-knack, paddywhack, hit him with a bone. This old freak is rolling home. This'll bug him.
Why it's a slaughterhouse right now. They got off that side slaughterhouse door kind of closer to the middle.
No use in delaying. Come on out. The closest help's over in East Jesus. Ain't nobody saving you. You're hanging on to a life that's already gone, baby. I'll kill you and swear you died. Trust me on that. Y'all's day is about to get much, much worse.
It's time for jingle bells, jangle all the way. Let's see if I can get her. Good. She's smart. And we don't need to be down here. All right, let's go check on our bomb back here. I see it.
Y'all about to see my serious side. Now get you little shit.
That would have been activated. I'm gonna let him go that way.
Don't hide, friends. You got a better chance of sneaking a sunrise past Nugget. We sure are hungry. Grill them bones. Gonna lick your brain like an ice cream cone. Crack that skull, Daddy. Break that neck. When Bone Daddy's driving, it's a 5-car wreck. They need to start
It's
taking
about
better
that
care of
time.
you around here.
Usually just weld by low Slaughterhouse.
Got one headed towards you, Cook.
Keeping rhythm, making time. Bone Daddy swinging, baby. Mine, all mine.
I don't think he unlocked the gate yet.
Whoops.
Yeah, no, he did.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, hit him with a bone. This old freak is rolling home. Aw, don't split. I ain't had my fun yet. Come on.
Take him down.
Now we're swinging. starting to bleed.
That's crazy. Oh wow, he's glitched. That is it. That is it. Good game, all. That's beautiful. And you see how strong he is. And see, I happened to catch Wyatt at a real bad time because Wyatt was trying to hop in there, and as you could see, he was trying to take his potion. All I did was slap him once and it was over with. Oh no, no. And that's what sucks about hell potions, man, is that you actually have to go through the animation of taking them before they give you their health. Uh-oh. Oh, well, we're dealing with the 10, 10, 10, 3. Sure, why not? Why not? Okay, so what we want instead is that. Because we still want to have our strength. But you know what? Because that's our power. Serrated helps it sting, so we need that. So I'll take that disadvantage. As a matter of fact, well, you know what? I'll just have to deal with it, right? I almost want to take away Serrated. But we'll roll with it.
The scheduled draining of the Colton Reservoir was put on hold when city workers discovered the remains of more than a dozen animal corpses. The bodies are reported as being in various states of mutilation. Authorities believe the carcasses are from packs of wandering wild dogs, with them most likely to be rabid. Caution to refrain from consuming any water sourced from the reservoir and be on the lookout.
This'll be a blast, baby.
How's that city life treating you? know it ain't too far away. Sure does feel like it. We miss you.
Your old ass is slower than molasses in January.
Alright, he just needs to be careful on barging doors. Alright, he didn't put a lock here. This is gonna suck.
How did it all begin? With a big bang, baby. Boom, boom, boom.
Fresh as it gets.
Drink up now.
It's boom time.
All right. Let's make sure nobody has. Ah. Okay, he got a hold of somebody. What MUC cook? Okay. Okay. Also looking around for people. Okay. See, there's that. Okay.
Ain't no going back now. The cat's out of the bag.
Now, would come up here and I would barge that. Just so they can't lock it. Everything's pretty quiet. And the bomb is still there, so that means that nobody has gone that way. Man, are they just not coming out of the basement? And they might be new. They might not even have a clue of how to get out of the basement. Cause like they haven't opened nothing.
I'm fixing to find you all, that's for sure.
Corners, dang.
Look, I'm strong. Damn kids. Anything goes.
Okay, that was him. Secret blood. In the back rooms. Sometimes there's one in here too. Not today. Man, I guess they just gave it up and said, skip it. I mean, like, nobody opened up any doors? All right, hell, am I gonna have to jump out the window just because? That cook. Ooh, I see you.
Making bacon, bim bam boom. Come on.
He almost made it.
Yeah.
He almost made it. He almost made it. Imagine getting to that door, realizing there's a lock, and then it's like, what's that beeping sound? Bomb. That's what it was. Oh. I don't like your stupid bombs. All right, so I think we've seen that Spec in action. And as you can see, it hurts. Like 9 times out of 10, I think I'm catching people who have already been softened up, but yet and still, that's still doing some pretty strong hits. So let's go ahead. And since we were let's go ahead and let's see what that other Spec looks like. We'll go with this. All right, let's test it out. Let's see what's great about it. Or not so great.
Wasn't sure what he was expecting when he
All right, he's got that
burned
wind
down
doom.
truck on
So
his
this might
back
be
porch this
good.
morning. Gaines was patrolling the perimeter of his land just after sunrise when he saw the truck in the distance. It was apparent that the truck was damaged from a distance, but closer inspection led Gaines to find the charred remains of a currently unidentified man in the driver's seat and a large bag filled with money.
Inavita to Gata, baby. It's heavy. You got us out here herding cats. Damn, son. How did it all begin? With a big bang, baby. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome to our funny farm. Me and the fam don't mean no harm.
How the hell did those kids find us? I should have been more careful. It's all right. Big boy's gonna be wearing your face soon enough. After I'm done with you, that is.
You got the bright disease. Ain't no leaving this place now. Come on out now. You're already dead. You just don't know it yet. Farm to fork. Don't get much fresher than that. Don't get no crazy ideas. Those folks down the road a piece can't help you. I'll kill you and swear you died. Trust me on that. Here, this ought to spring you to life. Knick-knack, paddywhack, hit him with a bone. This old freak is rolling home. We sure are hungry. Grill them bones. Gonna lick your brain like an ice cream cone.
I love bones. I mean, yeah. Yummy.
It's boom time.
All right. Got that set up.
Crack that skull, Daddy. Break that neck. When Bone Daddy's driving it.
Get her. Get that heifer. Okay.
They need to start taking better care of you around here.
See, she was gonna try and sweet talk him. That's why he didn't scream while she was near him.
Get over here and take what's coming to you.
Hey, Sonny. What's up?
Better. If you're looking for sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Gotta get our pawpaw protected.
It'll be tough toenails now.
I'm gonna see your insides before this night's through.
You ain't looking too bad.
Listen now.
You're hanging on to a life that's already gone, baby. Aw, don't split. I ain't had my fun yet.
All right, Sonny boy. Where's that there fuse? There it is.
No use in delaying. Come on out. The closest help's over in East Jesus. Ain't nobody saving you.
Now, where did you
Boom! You little shit!
That's all we needed. That's all we needed. Ah, there you go. Hey, Sonny. Dang. Johnny was like, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I am whooping your ass.
You ain't getting away.
Dang, Johnny.
Keeping you.
Hey, I have never seen Johnny do that kill. Johnny went to work. Oh, so you want to run and jump out of windows and stuff, huh? Got some good points. Only person who didn't get anything too much was Leland, which is a big surprise. Sonny was like, dang. But you guys can see. So now you actually got to see it in action. Did you see how it was actually faster to go on ahead and just come out? It's the same speed because of your recovery. It's the same speed to just go ahead and just go out the front door as it is to jump out of the window. Because you saw both times, and I was right on Sonny's butt that second time when he jumped out the window. I knew he was going for that window. So as soon as he went for it, I was like, hell yes. Johnny was at the window with me. Johnny had enough time to leave the window, go around the corner, unlock the front door, step out of it, close it, and walk over to where I was, all from the time that it took the two of us to jump through the window and for me to recover. Now, the cool thing about that is that me and Sonny, if it would have just been me and Sonny, we would have recovered at the same time. So I would have been able to still get him, but it would have been just as fast for me to go out of the door, to go around the corner and go out of the door as it was for me to jump out of the window. So that's what I'm saying when I say that there's like no benefit to it, because I could have just went out the front door. What was my benefit? So, but it was still fun. Now, I'm pretty sure that surprised ass Sonny. What the hell? Yes, I sure did. It looks fun. Let's jump out the window together. Let's take that leap. Then Johnny came out there and he was like, "Aw, brother. Let me show you how I feel about what you made me do. You made me run. Then took and got my Sunday suit all dirty and stuff." So, all right, give me one moment, everybody.
adolescent vandals have been terrorizing the city of Lexington, Texas with horrific depictions of famine and the macabre. Nearby active officers may involve remote Odessa sheriffs investigating evidence authorities locally intercepted years ago. The grotesque animal dioramas composed of foxtrots. Their connection is unknown, but not likely coincidental. The youths are believed to be sisters, but authorities cannot confirm.
All right, let's wiggle and shake.
It's go time.
So we automatically know. Pawpaw's not up here. So we got our wired on. So now we can go ahead and we can test that out.
Spawns so far away. I think it spawns you pitch far away too, so.
Yep. So Bones is in the middle.
Don't like harvest.
Pawpaw, where you at? He's not here. He is here.
It'll be tough toenails now.
I'm in main map. Go here, hitchhiker. They spawn you far away, dude. You gotta get over here main map fast. I'll check the other door.
Pasa.
Come on back. Don't bad to the bone.
I wouldn't go up there if I were you.
When are you gonna start pitching in? Don't be a cheap creep now.
Oh, Leland. My boy.
Fuck. Got her weak. Finish her off, finish her off. Got her. Thank you, Hitch. Alright, check doors, check doors.
Shank him. Shank him.
Don't you fighting someone?
We are cooking now.
Nice. Oh yeah, dude. Gonna check doors while you feet.
Cool.
Here, this ought to spring you to life.
Okay, they already opened one door to car battery. I'm gonna hang by car battery. You guys check doors to generator.
All right.
I need to put a check on that battery. I have one on me.
You must be Dixie. Get back here and take this pounding.
Still locked.
I'm gonna put a trap on the battery.
Yeah.
Now I have to be super careful with my traps here, because if I put my traps, seeing if anybody lights up. Got this ability, but I don't see nobody lighting up.
Someone's probably inside of Slaughterhouse there.
Alright.
These others around here ain't so understanding.
I can help you.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, hit him with a bone. This old freak is rolling home.
In their hits.
Yeah, I'm just double checking to see if they're not hiding in here. It's all good.
Protected by Paiper.
Don't mean no harm.
Alright, let's go see if we can find some blood. We are guarding the downtown area. Hopefully those two could go ahead and hold the car battery. Just give in, sweetie.
Actually, never mind. I think there's someone in Slaughterhouse. I got like 2 voice lines saying that they found him.
Between shit and syphilis.
Okay.
You better cool it. You're starting to bleed. It won't be long now.
I just don't know where the hell he went.
Alright. Okay, got this chicken going off like crazy. Sonny boy. Go to work on him.
Farm to fork. Don't get much pressure
Dude,
down.
I don't know where. Because the doors on the outside are still locked. I just don't see them.
Crack that skull, Daddy. Break that neck. When Bone
Doors
Daddy's
on-
driving, it's
bad
a
call out,
Yeah, they're
though.
still
5-star
good
wreck.
last time I checked.
Rock
Nice.
him.
Oh,
Generator.
There they are.
He's still here. What a fucking wreck.
Oh, they can't get away now. So now we know how many hits it takes for him to get somebody. And that was probably a full toughness Sonny.
Found her.
Get her.
I'll be on this other side where she can vault through. Just over here.
See, I can see it.
Getting your way.
Honey, every time you vault, I can see you. But you don't know that, do you?
Oh. She's running back that way, same way. Oh, got it.
Nice.
There it is.
Oh yeah, good teamwork.
So I got to see it. It does work. Good games.
Yeah.
Very good games right there.
Ooh, mini points. Wow, I'm surprised at that. But I did get a lot of points for that. And the only reason why I got them in the beginning is because they all tried to rush together. So that's how they got lit up. Now, had they triggered that bomb, they would have got even more hurt. Now, could you imagine if I would have had Thrilled and they would have all activated a bomb? Like, literally, it would have been kill one, find out who has the 50%. I could have killed like 3 people right there. I could have helped kill that whole group. But we still did good. And as you can see, yes, it does work. Yes, it does work. Yes, wire does work. So you can see her climbing over the obstacles. So this really does help you because you're going to see this anytime a victim does it. So that's a nice little highlight. And then the victim will be wondering, how does this fool know where I'm going every single time? Well, every time you climb over an obstacle, I'm going to see it. Slaughterhouse is full of obstacles, especially if you don't have somebody to take and break them. So this is where this is useful at. Any place where you think there's going to be obstacles, this is going to help you out. So this is where you're going to wind up getting your utility from. Is that utility is going to come from any time they use this, but it's dependent. They have to go over an obstacle. So you need to make sure that you're in a place where the victims are going to be using obstacles a lot. So that's why I say this is good for Slaughterhouse. This is probably also good for Abandoned Mill, because there's a lot of a lot of barriers there, obstacles there. So it will help you out there. Anytime they're in the basement is going to help you out. I don't think it's really going to help you out on Nancy's house, except for if you were in the basement, or just for being able to monitor them moving in the basement, especially if they go over one of these obstacles. Where else would it be? Graveyard. It might be useful for Graveyard, because there's a couple of obstacles that they could crawl over. But yeah, mainly you would be using this on Slaughterhouse is where it's going to be really good. Gas station, it has potential to be good, but there's only a couple of barriers where it's going to be working for you at. So there's potential for it. There's a couple of maps where it's going to be really good for you. Then there's other maps where it's not going to be so great. Like Family House, this is not going to be great. That's why I switched that out for Reckless, because there's only that one barrier that we really even need to worry about. And victims aren't going to be going over that barrier, that much. You're going to get much more benefit out of this. But then again, we also saw the result of that. So that is going to be, we said we're going to give the TruBlood spec one more time, right? Right. So let me show you that, the for real version. Now, part of me is saying that I should go over here and I should get this for the Grandpa perk. Just because, even though this is a rank 3 one, we're definitely going to have this. And this means that any door that the victims open will see it over Grandpa's sonar going off faster. Now, this is good. And what sucks is that I can't have both. So if somebody already has this, then I'm going to be running with chickens, basically. But if nobody has it, then I can at least bring that benefit, because I don't care about Serrated. It's a nice option, but when you're going with the TruBlood build, you're not worried about that damage. So let's see. So it's about that utility. Because if you have a grandpa that's going off every 2 that's going off faster too, then that also helps. But either or, it just depends on what you think and what you feel comfortable with. Me personally, I'm wondering if I need to go ahead and take exterior alarms, because this is going to wind up being, I feel, more beneficial to my team. And of course, we leave our damage at horrible. All right, once again, here's where we make that decision. Since we're trying to go for the most efficiency, we will go here. Stamina drain. Free blood vial. All right, let's show it to him. Oh boy.
Scheduled draining of the Colton Reservoir was put on hold when city workers discovered the remains of more than a dozen animal corpses. The bodies are reported as being in various states of mutilation. Authorities believe the carcasses are from packs of wandering wild dogs, with them most likely to be rabid. Residents are cautioned to refrain from consuming any water sourced from the reservoir.
it all begin? With a big bang, baby. Boom, boom, boom. It'll be tough toenails now.
Face was like, can I have some too? Can Face have some too? Oh no, man, I wanted you to have some too. See, that door has got to go. It's got to go. Face is into redecorating.
They need to start taking better care of you around here.
See now with that 182 instead of that 140. That's how much power it gives. Now we got a one back over here.
I'll kill you and swear you died.
Make sure they're not over here touching something they don't need to be touching. See, and no take blood. Tell you am no take blood.
No use in delaying. Come on out. The closest help's over in East Jesus. Ain't nobody saving you.
This is so good that I could literally do this.
Crack that skull, Daddy. Break that neck. When Bone Daddy's driving, it's
And he's at 5 already. Light him up. See, now here's a moment where Vial-ent would have been good. And because I don't have to worry about blood being in here. Come here. The face was like, I want some too.
We are
Cooking down.
still.
Got him. I knew he was gonna try it. Now, if that would have been a frag grenade, oh. But see, it missed him. And see, I knew that's exactly what he was gonna do, was wait, try to run. But you saw that. Now you see, that's the TruBlood build. You see how nasty that is? You see how quick I was able to get Grandpa up to 5? It's like, and you still have some kill potential. You still have the ability to do some damage. But that Sonny had definitely already been softened up for me to be able to take him down in one hit. Oh, actually, no, I did a couple of hits on him. So, about 2-3 hits. So he had been softened up a little bit. But you saw that. Like, I dropped that blood on Grandpa. It was like, all I needed to do was go get 2 more blood buckets. Bam, level 5. So that's what the TruBlood build does. But you have to be careful with that because as you can see, that's how it can be circumvented. Especially if that Sonny would have had a perk called, what is it, Aggravator? It is here, Agitator, there we go. Agitator. Incapacitating Grandpa has a greater negative effect on the family. Family bond is reduced by 1.5 levels, 2 levels, 2.5 levels. So basically, if he was at rank 3, then he would have, if Grandpa was at 5, 4, 3, 2.5. He would have fell back to level 2.5. Now, that's nothing, because with the TruBlood build, I'd have him right back at 5. Like, especially with 1 full feeding, I'd probably have him right back at 5. So, but victims do get this, and this is what he was trying to go for. But as he can see, that led to a meeting of the minds. And if I wouldn't have gotten him, Face would have gotten him. So he was going to catch it either way. There was going to be death. He was going to be on the dinner table tonight. We're having dark meat. Anyway, so that's about it. We were able to show everything. Like I said, trying to show the triple spec, there's really no need to show it. We got to see the benefit of it. The only thing that would be different is just that I would be going down wells after people too. But we talked about where you do that and why you do and when you do that. So shoot, we're not gonna have any time to get to old Drayton. We're not gonna have time to get to cook tonight. So this means that he gets to have his own show. And I think that's the way he likes it. I could tell by the way he's holding his stick that that's exactly what he wants. He wants it to be all about him. So next time we'll go ahead and we'll pick up. We'll start talking about Cook. We'll talk about how you play him. We'll talk about what's changed about him because I believe when I did the original tutorial for him that I don't think his seek ability, which is his hearing, I don't think this had been nerfed yet. Or this might, I think this got nerfed like right after I did it. So he's not going to be the same anymore. You're going to play him differently than what you are used to playing him as. So that's going to be for this Saturday. We'll be talking about him. And then after him, we've got Hitchhiker. Well, we'll talk about Johnny next. Then we'll do Hitchhiker. Then we'll do Hands. Then we'll do the man himself, Leatherface. And then that'll clear out our tutorials. Unless somebody else new comes along, which there is a possibility. We don't know when she's coming. We just know that she's on the horizon. But she'll be the slot right next to Bones, which will actually catch us up with the victims. And we'll have the same amount. Now, I don't know if they're going to release another victim. Thus, we'll be getting 2 more family members. So, who knows? But we'll see what happens. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you all are learning. And like I said, I was a little bit mean to Bones last episode. So, he got the chance to go ahead and shine. And you got to see what it is that he does. As you can see, Bones is not about damage. And as you can see, when it comes to his bombs, even his bombs are not really about hitting people as long as you've got this. Now, people will tend to say, oh, well, that's the cheap way to play him. Well, it's kind of the only way to play him due to the way that his bombs work. So cheap or not, like, this is the best way to play him. You can go ahead and you can go with that, but don't get mad when you go the whole match and you never get the opportunity to use this perk because the victims are too smart and they miss your bombs. So that's the only thing. You know, and then you can go with 3 bombs, but then you're not getting any blood benefit. So then all your bombs are doing are just there just to be there, basically, by going this route. Like, you have to be really, really, really good at bomb placement and your bombs not being seen and them hitting victims to go this route, in my opinion. So we saw it all. So basically that's how I feel about Bones. I do say at this point he is a character that most people will consider pay to lose. But his whole thing, because he's a chaser who doesn't have scout, so he can't effectively chase. You know about his 3 traversal perks already. So basically the best thing that he really does have going for him is the TruBlood build. Like, it makes him the ultimate blood runner. But why is that all that he is when he's supposed to be a chaser and he's got those 3 traversal perks that could be so awesome that he wouldn't even need scout. But until they step these up, until they step these 3 perks up, you know, they're not going to be of value, and therefore Bones won't be of much value outside of his blood build, outside of the TruBlood build. You saw the other ones. You saw he could do some damage. But the trick was you have to get to the victim first. You don't have scouts, so that means you have to, and you saw what I had to do in order to get to the victims. Now, 9 times out of 10, the victims may underestimate you and come at you. Then you make them sorry, and then they have that look on their face when they get jacked up. So that's the only benefit of it. So Bones does have potential. Don't get me wrong, the potential is there. We're just waiting to see if they're going to doctor up those bombs a bit more, and if they're going to doctor up those 3 traversal perks to make him the star that he really should be. So, all right, everybody, let's go ahead and let's end this here. Michael, thank you for coming through. Lurkers, thank you for coming through. I hope this has been informative. I hope you have all been learning, and we will pick this up next Saturday. Let's look at our usual start time of 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I will see you then. And as always, you are all what makes ZTV what it is. Without you, there is no ZTV. So happy Easter. I think we slaughtered the Easter bunny at some point. It was a guy that was dressed up in a costume. But yeah, you all take care. Have a good rest of your night.